Should the Fed, the IRS, and other agencies be audited? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, the 8th of December, as we fly by at the end of this year. And of course, as we all know, the older you get, the faster time goes. But there's a question out there that, of course, should agencies be audited? And I don't know about you, but I'm all for it. But I want an independent auditor. I like what Musk and Ramaswamy are talking about. And of course, they're first talking about auditing the IRS. But I think that should be taken to the Federal Reserve. I mean, let's just look what's happened with the Federal Reserve over the since September 18th. They've cut rates twice, yet the 10-year notes are almost a full point higher than they were when the rates were cut. Something's going on here. Something is not correct. And again, you've heard me say this before, and this is not new. I am a believer that the banks are, if you did a true audit on the banks, not that moronic stress test that the Federal Reserve does, I think you might find that the banks are extremely leveraged. I mean, we're in one of the biggest massive bull markets, momentum rallies that we've ever seen again. And again, we've seen how these end, and they will end. This will end the same way when it ends, and nobody knows when it ends. I mean, I've been wrong for a year or longer looking for that. But again, I have not been playing for that big correction, but I have been wrong. But again, I would never try to time it because I think it's foolish. But I do believe that agencies, government agencies included, should be audited. And I don't believe they should be audited by their own people. I think they should be audited by a forensic accounting team that is on the outside. But of course, what are the odds of that happening? Well, the same odds of me winning the $14.2 million, which I didn't win, and I'm out. So in the meantime, I do think that there should be audits. And of course, you have 54 Democratic lawmakers urging President Biden to distribute more climate funds before he leaves office. Well, didn't he do enough damage already with pardoning Hunter Biden? Again, I know it's his son, and I'm not surprised that he got pardoned. Okay, let's be clear that there was never a doubt in my mind that he was going to pardon. He even went through his bullshit rhetoric speech that he's not above the law. There are some problems with the audit, with the pardon, and I think that there may be more to the story. I'm sure that the pardon is going to go through, but I am not sure, and I don't know the answer to this, but I'm not sure that the pardon can include tax evasion. Okay, again, I'm not sure. I'm just saying that I've been reading some things that there's still some things here, but again, of course the Democrats want that money because listen, let's face it, our political system is broken. Whether you be a Republican or be a Democrat, basically they're all taking our tax dollars, our hard-earned money, and spending it on things, either themselves, things to make it better for themselves. Your representation is not looking out for you. They're looking out for themselves. Let's be very clear about that. So of course they want more money, okay? But I mean, the Green New scam in Germany is breaking them, just like it is here. I mean, again, I am not a believer in climate change. I think that that's a total bunch of horseshit. However, if you are a believer in climate change, I have no problem. But you have to be prepared to make the changes that you want. Okay, I'm in for drill baby drill right now. Okay, I'm in for cutting some of the United States debt, okay, by using oil, by using tariffs. Okay, and again, you can argue with me. I did a spot last week with Daniela Cambone for ITM, and of course got blistered for my view on the BRICS nations and what we should do with the dollar. But I do believe the United States could be an island, and everybody's bitching and moaning of how much the cost is. Well, how much higher can our costs be than we are now? Okay, how much more can the goods and services that you're buying be more now? I mean, we were a manufacturing country at one time, and I would certainly like to go back for that because that would create a lot of good jobs for a lot of good people and stimulate the economy. And I don't believe that the cost would be all that much greater, okay, than us going out to China. You know, by the time China goods get here. So, hey, look, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm telling you that I think that you're wrong. and that it's a mistake. And I think we should use tariffs. I think we should stop depending on China. And somebody asked me, well, what about the drugs? Okay. Well, are you happy getting your prescription drugs from China? You don't think that we're capable of producing them here? But we'll get to more of that in our commentary a little bit later. Mexican officials make record fentanyl seizure days after Trump's warning. So we've got a big problem. And I have a friend who's involved in this big problem. And of course, it's the tariffs from Mexico. Well, again, I think that either Mexico's got to step up and stop with the illegal immigration and stop it on their side, okay? Or there need to be tariffs. Again, I think money is a very powerful motivator for many. And that's where I think that we have to go, okay? I mean, at the end of the day, you know, you're looking for all of these things, and I just think that, you know, you look at what's going on in the country today, okay? The illegal immigration, the funding, the tax dollars that we're paying, and HelloFresh in California, okay, or in Illinois, excuse me, has been found to have been using migrants, illegal migrants of underage to work in their factories. Okay. Now again, you worry about all this stuff and you talk about it, but here you have a company that is doing exactly what they shouldn't be doing. Okay. And of course, you now have in LA their council approved sanctuary city ordinance. Now you have to ask yourself, why would a state want to protect all these illegals? It isn't because they're such great fucking humanitarians, okay? It's because they do get child labor out of it. They do get cheap labor out of it, okay? And they get potential future votes. But is that really who we are as the United States of America? Okay? You know, we have all of this sex trafficking. We have all this human trafficking going on throughout this illegal immigration. Do you not think that there are politicians that are getting paid off to turn their eyes the other way, okay, and let this happen? You don't think that one of the smartest countries in the world could put a stop to this if they really wanted to? I mean, you got to think about it. A lot of things we hear them complain about, we could put a stop to. And I'm hoping that obviously Tom Homan, the new border czar, and President Trump, with what he wants to do, look, we have to give him a chance. And listen, I'm a fan. I voted for him. I'm not shy, and you know, if you've listened to me for any length of time. But I do believe that he can do a great job, and I do believe that we can kind of get this country back on track. And someone will say, well, but look at the stock market. I go, fuck the stock market. How many of you are actually benefiting and participating in liquid funds that you can go out and spend? Okay? Forget about what your 401k is, because you can't take it now anyways. Look at what's going on. Look at the destruction to the Social Security system throughout even this big bull market. Okay, again, we're running out of money. We're producing massive amounts of debt. And if you wanted to say, well, look at my 401k, how good it is, what happens when the market drops 50% if it does? Then your 401k is not so good. We need to build a much better foundation. And I do believe that's where President Trump is headed. You know, I think that this momentum mania is nuts. I've seen it before, and it will end the same way. Eventually, the buyers will have overcome the market, and of course, there'll be nobody left to buy. And it's a pleasure to see that Walmart nukes their DEI policy. Okay, anti-woke crusaders, shockwaves around corporate America. Listen, we shouldn't have to have mandates for how we act and what we do. Okay. And I think that DEI was one of the shittiest, stupidest things that there was, okay? Because you can't shove it down people's throats. You have to go through education. It should really start with teaching people how to get along, okay? But that's a story for another day. And again, you're seeing a mass amount of closings in retail stores in urban areas. And of course, why? Because obviously higher crime areas. Okay, Walgreens has closed most of their stores in in many of the rougher neighborhoods in Chicago. Wawa in Philadelphia is closing their stores. Target's closing their stores. Why are they closing? Because again, they can't, because we've set up a position that the police can't do their job, okay? The police can't arrest and people can steal. I mean, where did all this come from? Where did the fact of pure law and order come from? And of course, I think Trump's tariffs will force global partners to play ball with the USA. And I think that it's got to start somewhere. And we have to get some true law and order in this country, okay? Because at the end of the day, okay, we cannot continue to allow the illegal immigration, the use of children for labor, for cheap labor, the use of the illegal immigrants for cheap labor. We have to let them, force them to come in through the country the way it's supposed to be. Otherwise, all we're doing is paying our tax dollars into a fund for nothing. Okay, so you're paying your money to support an illegal immigrant through these sanctuary cities, through everything else, and you aren't getting anything for it. And I think that that is the big criminal mistake. And I'm hoping, against hope, that this administration is going to change it. Okay, I hope that we're going to see the debt cut. I'm hoping we're going to see all the things that we've been talking about here for years that we would like to see happen, but it has to start with auditing these government institutions that have done nothing but fuck the American people since it's been in institutions since 1913 from the Federal Reserve. Okay, and if you go back in history, that is when a lot of the screwing and the stealing from Americans started. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. It is Sunday, December the 8th. And of course, we're going to step out here for a break, and we'll be back with our market report right after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line. What's up, kids? Of course, we've got some sponsors, as you know, and we got a brand new sponsor for physical metals, and very happy to have them. And it's actually Danielle Camboni's company that she works for, and it's ITM Trading. Great place to buy gold and silver. I've been buying from them for years, and decided to try to share it with all you members. So you want to check them out, go to learn.itmtrading.com / Bubba. It is learn.itmtrading.com / Bubba. And of course, don't forget about TRADIER Brokerage, our equity partner, who saves me $100,000 a year in commissions. But of course, they're $10 a month flat, so certainly want to check them out. And our sponsors are on the side or on the bottom. And of course, Capital Trading Group, who's our partner in many things. And we've got some great new announcements coming out soon. Can't tell you what they are yet. But Capital Trading Group, CTG. And of course, our high school program, which is, again, if we could just get in, we could educate the youth and eliminate a lot of this trouble for those of you in later life as you grow up. But in the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. We're going to get back to the show right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line Sunday, December the 8th. And of course, markets had another run up. Again, listen, we don't fight it. You know, we're participating in it. And again, I mean, we are short the Dow and short the Russell. But again, there's no reason to argue with the market. Market momentum is pushing it higher. But as we all know, eventually momentum dries up, and of course it will fall on its own weight. Too much complacency, too much bullshit. But at the end of the day, the big participants are the wealthy. Okay, and again, I got nothing against the wealthy. Okay, certainly I'm a big free market capitalist guy. Okay, if you can make billions, God bless. I don't hold any grudges against Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or Warren Buffett, no matter what I think about them personally. I have no problem with the money they make, because that's what America should be about. But again, you get these momentum moves, and of course you've got Warren Buffett pulling out of the markets. And again, I hate Warren Buffett, but you have him pulling out of markets, which is something you should be thinking about. And again, I'm certainly not going to tell you not to invest, but I would be very careful at chasing momentum because the volumes have been brutal. We are in the fourth quarter. This has been one of the worst fourth quarters I've ever seen from a volume standpoint and a trading standpoint. But in the meantime, it is what it is. And in the meantime, as I said, all four major indices were higher last week. We are short the Dow, and we are short the Russell, flat the other two. And of course, in the dollar, which we don't trade the dollar, but the dollar came down a little bit last week, and we would have been short the dollar again. We don't trade it, so I'm not going to tell you that we were or we weren't. We would have been short Euro currency was higher. We are long euro currency. Bonds and notes were higher. We're long bonds and notes. Bitcoin exploded. Well, again, we've been talking about that here for years, that it was going to pop, and I would expect it to pull back here at some point, but it exploded. We have no position right now, but I would tell you right now, based on the action, our next position will first be short, okay, because it's so far overextended. Gold, still moderately hovering around that level, at the around just over 2,600. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I think it was great. I think the rally up to 2,800 and the pullback was very much expected. Silver, again, moderating. We are long gold. We have no position in silver. Platinum, we would be long if we traded it, but we do not because, of course, it's not liquid enough for us to trade as a group. Copper continues to be vacillating. We have no position in copper. Grain markets were flat with the exception of corn, which were short, but I would expect to see some movement here soon. But again, the volumes there have been so light and pathetic as well. I'm still short cattle and long hogs, and that's just me personally, that we don't trade those anymore. Natural gas, we are short, and it makes sense. Look at the weather, look at it. Look, from a fundamental standpoint, I'm not a fundamental guy, but from a fundamental standpoint and a chart point, it does make sense to be short, and it's doing well. Crude oil, we have no position. It continues to vacillate between 66 and 72. So at the end of the day, look, you've seen some wild move in equities, and basically what we're looking for is major extensions in one direction, in which we will take the other side. In the meantime, just be careful in these markets. There's a lot of stuff going on, and again, don't get trapped by your own greed. That will be my advice to you today. I'm not telling you to sell out or get out. If you're an investor, I wouldn't do anything. I wouldn't even look at it. Okay, if you're a trader, just be careful. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line on Sunday, December the 8th. We're going to step out here for our final break and come back with our commentary and, of course, our football picks. Bubba's Bottom Line. Welcome back. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, and, of course, every week I give you some commentary on what I'm thinking, and, of course, we opened up the show with talking about an audit. And, again, I do believe that all of our agencies need to be audited. I think that you've got too much criminality that goes on throughout. You watched what Hunter Biden could have done and did, and through his father, Joe Biden. And again, I ask you the question. Again, this is not just about the Bidens. It could be about the Clintons. It could be about the Bushes. The only one that I think that never stole was Trump. Okay, but again, you can name any number of them, but the most recent is Biden. And I ask you the question: Joe and Jill Biden made $6 million in their working career. How are they worth $155 million? Okay, the Clintons are billionaires from dirt in Arkansas to billionaires. I mean, just think about what goes on. So when it comes to this pardon, again, there's a lot of things with the IRS and other things that go on, but we do need to audit and have independent auditors, not government auditors. We have to have people that cannot be paid off. If you saw the movie The Big Short, a lot of the bond ratings that were given because they were paid to be given, or because they made money based on their recommendation. Don't you think it is time to stop the government overrun where the politicians first of all, they can inside trade. That's the one problem, okay? But they're benefiting between their lobbyists and all the deals they make. Don't you think it's time for an audit? I mean, Ron Paul has said for years, end the Fed, and if you're not going to end it, at least audit it. Because what is going on there? The Fed is owned by the very banks that had their rates cut so that they could make a bigger profit and not pass the money savings on to the United States citizen, because interest rates are still going higher. So all the bank has done is made a bigger spread. So I again say, do you not believe that all of our agencies should be audited that are using our fucking money? That's what I think. That's what I got to say. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, December the 8th, and of course, football Sunday. We like 3 games today. The New York Giants, God, how could I say that without puking? Buffalo and Kansas City. And to all of you, have a great weekend. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving week, and we'll see you back here tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update. And of course, this week we'll be in Vegas doing our live stream as well. If you want to sign up for the live stream, you can. Check it out at bubbatrading.com. And this is it. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.